Hi, I'm Angela Wolf, fashion designer and online instructor, and today we're going to talk about activewear. I'm an avid fisherman and I'm always looking for a great pair of pants, something that it looks like running wear, but it's sturdier and it has better fabric. So look at the lines on here. All these seams are covered with the cover hem, which I'm going to show you how to do. And notice the front seam. There's not a side seam. This is actually closer to the front of the body. There's reasons for all of these. And also, I want to point out the elastic. Right now, I don't have that attached, but it's just a simple sports elastic band. You can make these so quickly. So let me show you what I started with. This is the pattern. You could use any jeggings, leggings, pants that you want, and even color block it, but this is the pattern. So I have different colors for different areas. The fabric that I chose, this is a supplex. You can see it has a high amount of stretch, but it also it's a little thick. It's not see-through, so it's not like a cotton stretch that you use for leggings. That's one difference. The easiest way to cut this fabric is just use a rotary cutter, and you can cut however you need to. If it's a curve, it's very easy to cut. It doesn't fray, so this stuff is really fun to work with. How to finish the seams. So first I'm going to show you the seams, then I'm going to show you the waist, and then we're going to talk about the hem. The seams that I showed you on there, first I use a 3-thread overlock. Why do I use this? Look at how it stretches and it doesn't rip out. If you were to use a straight stitch, it would rip out. And then I go back and I use the cover hem. So this is actually the inside of the fabric. This is this side, where I use the cover hem upside down, which I'm going to show you. So this is the right side that ends up looking like activewear. And it stretches. I'm sure you've seen this before. So let's go take a look at how simple this is. Here I have 2 pieces of fabric. I have right sides together. Again, 3-thread overlock. The one thing I did change is I changed the needle to a jersey needle, a number 80, I think it's 80-12. That's strong enough. And I'm just going to show you how simple this is to stitch. I'm lifting up my needle. One more thing is that depending on the seam allowance on your pattern, you're going to want to either trim that down or you can cut it as you're serging, which makes it very simple, very fast. So the seam allowance that you end up with is only this right here, about 1/4 inch. So there is our seam. And it stretches, it looks great. So how do we get that great sports look? If this is the right side of the fabric, let's go to the cover hem machine. So here you have 4 spools of thread, and we're going to cover stitch upside down. So this is the wrong side of the fabric. And I'm going to just line up. You can actually see through the foot, which is really nice. And I'm just going to line up the needles right in the center. Here, get that up a little bit. So I'm lining up the seam right in the center of those needles. And we're just going to stitch. Got to get it started here. There we go. You could also use a 2-thread cover stitch, which looks good too, but the 3-thread really has a good sporty look. All right. Get all my threads out of the way. So this is what the right side of the fabric looks like. Very sporty, a little crooked, but it's very sporty. Okay, that's how simple it is to do all of these seams. That's the inside of the garment, that's the outside. So let's take a look at the waistband. So here I have a pair of finished, almost finished pants. This is what the waistband looks like. I've already tried these on. They fit great. Here is the trick to make your pants look very professional. Usually when we have pants with an elastic waist, well, at least in the past, you would try to have the elastic the size of your hip so you can get the pants on over your hip. Well, the beauty of using a fabric that stretches this much is that the elastic can actually fit your waist, and this measurement here will be the exact measurement that you're attaching it to. So there will be no easing, it's the exact same. We're going to attach it, and because this stretches, you'll still be able to get it over your hips. So I've already sewn my elastic in the center back. I did that with a sewing machine, just 2 rows of stitching, and now I'm going to mark my elastic just like I did to the pants. Now I've matched this elastic to my waist, and I've altered the pants to fit so they're both exactly the same width. There's my 4/4. And you're going to stitch with the wrong side of the fabric to the elastic. I'm just going to pin each quarter. And again, there will be hardly any easing, if there is any at all, but it'll be very little. And there's the center back seam. And here's the side. Perfect. Let's go to the serger. So again, I have this set up as a 3-thread overlock machine, and I'm just going to stitch. I'm actually going to flip it so I can see the elastic. I think you'll see better. And I will be very careful not to stitch over the pins. All right. So I'm just going to stitch. Notice I'm allowing the fabric to stick out just a little bit. I always like to do that so I can make sure that I'm capturing all the layers. We're going to make it all the way around. This is one of the easiest waistbands. And we are almost finished. All the way to the back side. And one little trick here is if you want to put your label in there, you would do that now. Let's take another look up here. So what we have, there's no wrinkles up here. It looks perfect. This can just fold in just like we have on the dress, on the mannequin. Let's take a look at him right here. This is the waist, the exact same elastic. All I have is it folded under. And I can go back and I might just tack this down, or I could take the cover hem machine, the cover stitch machine, and do a cover hem all the way across, which would look great. Okay, what about the last step? We have to hem these guys. And you can actually see a crease right here, but to make this go through the machine perfectly, I give it a little pressing. Be very careful. Notice this is not touching the garment because there's spandex in there. You never want the iron to hit that. You'll end up with little triangles. Use the clapper to give it a nice crease. Do the other side, and we are ready to go under the machine. We're going to do, again, a cover stitch, and this is what it looks like. I can either do it from this side, where you end up with the 3 lines. That looks very professional. This is the back side. Or I can do it reverse, where the 3 lines are on the back side, and this is what shows. Whatever your flavor, either one looks great, and it solves the purpose of hemming. So you just slide this in. Here's the hem, and here's the foot. And I'm just going to stitch. Again, you have to kind of move things around. And what I'm doing is I'm lining up the hem right here at the edge. Just try to eyeball it and keep it as straight as possible. We're getting to the end. I like to trim off these beginning threads before you get to them so they don't all get tangled underneath there. And when you get to your starting point, you can see through here, just stitch right over those same stitches, just a little ways. Lift up your needle. And here's a little trick. Sometimes these, depending on what machine you have, you might have to pull these threads. There's a release, and you just kind of ease those threads out. Don't do too much that you actually bend the needles. That would be bad. So we just pull that out and give it a little snip. That looks great from the right side. It looks great from the back side. So let's take a look at these pants one last time. So between all of these seams, you can use just a cover stitch machine, a serger. You could be finished with these in an hour. The waistband looks fantastic. One more thing on the waistband, you can see how this looks here. If I were to do this along here, I would have that nice line just like I have on the back. And your pants will look like you walked right out of the store.